The boardroom of Sterling Global was a fortress of glass and steel. 12 men in expensive Italian suits sat around a massive mahogany table. At the head sat Marcus Sterling, a man who smiled while signing layoff notices. He was in the middle of a joke about cost-cutting when the heavy doors swung open. It wasn't a secretary. It was Sarah. She was 28, wearing a polyester blazer that had seen better days and scuffed shoes. She clutched a battered folder like a lifeline. The room went silent. Then Marcus let out a scoff. "Miss, the cafeteria is on the second floor. The cleaning crew isn't due until 6. Sarah ignored the jab. She walked straight toward the empty chair at the head of the table, the founder's chair. "I'm not here to clean, Marcus," she said, her voice steady. "I'm here to take my seat." Marcus burst into laughter. It was a cruel, barking sound. The other executives joined in, shaking their heads at the audacity. "Your seat?" Marcus wiped a tear from his eye. "Sweetheart, my Uncle Arthur might have been eccentric, but he didn't leave his billion-dollar empire to someone who looks like she clipped coupons to buy that jacket. Get out before I call security." Sarah didn't yell. She didn't retreat. She simply slid a single document down the long, polished table. It spun perfectly, coming to a rest right under Marcus's nose. "Read the signature," she said. Marcus rolled his eyes, picking it up with 2 fingers. "I don't know what kind of forgery this is, but—" He froze. The laughter in the room died instantly. There, in blue ink, was the unmistakable, shaky signature of Arthur Sterling, verified by the highest court in New York. This isn't possible," Marcus whispered, the blood draining from his face. "Why you?" 15 years ago, Sarah addressed the silent room. It was a storm. I was 18, driving a rusted sedan. On the side of the highway, an old man was standing in the mud, struggling to change a flat tire. She looked directly at Marcus. Hundreds of cars drove past him, people like you too important to stop. But I pulled over. I changed that tire in the freezing rain. When I was done, he tried to hand me a roll of cash. I told him no. I told him that kindness isn't a transaction. He never told me his name, Sarah said softly. He just asked if there were still good people left in the world. I didn't know he was a billionaire. I just knew he was alone. Marcus dropped the paper. He left it all to a stranger, because of a tire. He left it to the only person who stopped, Sarah corrected him. He wrote that he wanted his company run by someone who understands people, not just profits. Sarah walked to the head of the table and stood over Marcus. "You were just discussing firing 2,000 workers to boost the stock price. That's not the company I own." She pointed to the door. "Get out of my chair, Marcus. You're fired." As Marcus gathered his things in shame, the room shifted. The remaining executives weren't looking at Sarah's cheap suit anymore. They were looking at their new boss. Sarah sat down. "Gentlemen, we have work to do." Arthur Sterling proved one thing that day. Character is the only currency that truly lasts. You never know who you are talking to, and you never know when a simple act of kindness will change history.